Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Previously, the first crack started appearing on this facade that Ashley Graydon is putting up. We have managed to get him to stay in the courtroom, and we're trying to prove what possible reason he could want to have to break in there, and we narrowed it down to this specific box. And we're about to open it up, so I'm very excited to see what's in there. Now, I'm suspecting that it is in fact empty, but I think we can work with that. So this is the article in question, is it? The small box deposited with the pawnbrokery by Mr. McGilded 2 months ago. And on the night of Mr. Windibank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop. Quick, let's open it up and see what's inside. Oh, the hell? Oh! It's a music box! Of course! Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems. Wow. Although in truth I had an inkling that might be the case. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement. Then, is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord. So, here we have the means to play back Mr. McGilded's disc, deposited at Windibank's at much the same time. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilded's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus. But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGilded? I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord. Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last.
Hold it!
Wait, my lord. Oh. Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and the disc are, well, they're unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
Objection!
This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. The prosecution has no objection. But no, that piece of evidence is... Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. But it is policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. G'harg! No further delays, please. Play the disc. Oh boy. It's Morse code! What on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music. No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. Mr. Graydon? This really is priceless. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom. Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Are you ready to move on, counsel?
Come on. Yes, alright, it does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue?
It could be a clue.
I believe that it could be relevant, my lord.
Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel, mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever.
It does sound strange, I agree, but there is one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. If that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this. Oh! Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case? It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music. Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. I'm on the right lines here. I must be. Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Hurley, Runo.
Objection!
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not, I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it'll be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. You've got me. I don't know what the answer is, yet. Runo? I've just examined the music box very thoroughly, and I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all. Really? Really? The way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway. Thank you, Iris. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sound it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Ah, could it be? Is that what these sounds are? Whoop. Pardon me. Something's just struck me, Runo. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes. I would hope so. Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing.
I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, counsel?
All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to one single answer now. The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. All right then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds on this music box disc is... Alright. Wondering when we bring this up? The government secrets are being leaked to foreign agencies. These music discs must be how? Smuggled somehow. It's gotta be this.
Take that!
Today's paper, Council? The headline is Pawnbroker Perishes in Pick-Purse Plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause. No, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page. Further down? Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter being investigated at the highest level, I understand. I have heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams. Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please.
Stop. Me, sir? Whatever is the matter?
You told the court before that you worked at the same communications station as Mr. Graydon, did you not?
Yes, that's correct.
And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports?
Oh, yes. We're not your run-of-the-mill communications station at all. Our work is extremely important.
Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound?
Huh? You don't mean to say, is it?
That's right, madame. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code.
But I don't believe it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code? Ordar! Ordar! Please, everyone, ordar! But this is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment. Too much new vocabulary. What is this treason? And what is capital punishment?
The sorts of words I'd half expect you to know.
For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price. Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, McGild had perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawnbrokery. My word! In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilded would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous! Absolutely preposterous! So, in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. Ooh. Delighted, I'm sure. The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Windibank. That being a most a bad offense for which the law of this land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is a no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. So then, let us proceed. What? Huh? Oh.
You gotta let us have a rabbit and pork here, Governor. We got things to say.
I beg your pardon? Who do you think you are?
Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is professional baddie.
Name's Ringo Skulkin, but we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland.
That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulkin Brothers.
Oh, brother.
Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing.
I mean, their hair colors are pretty similar now that I look at them. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. Oh? It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, was it not? I have no relation to the man. Oh.
Look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night like what he told us to do.
If we'd known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin?
One Mr.'ll do, Governor. What's up?
Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally? And moreover, you did so as a party of 3, in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here.
We did, Gov, we did.
Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these 2 ruffians are referring to.
You little rotter, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight-up job.
And what about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? Poor bloke didn't have to die, did he?
Nice to know who your friends are.
Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it into the court record as evidence. Oh right, I forgot about that. So before we do anything, let's take a very close look at the box. Well, unfortunately everything seems to be in order. What is this button here? Oh.
What is it, Runo?
I've just noticed something about this music box. It looks like the bottom of it opens up as well.
Ah, you're right. Well, come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
Alright then, here goes. What? What?
Look at that, there's another movement on the underside.
So does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side?
Yes, I think so. And it looks like the two movements are linked together.
They're linked.
So if you had two discs, they would both play back at the same time.
What? Well, we haven't quite pressed Graydon yet, but he did say that the sounds weren't even Morse code. Maybe if he played a second disc at once, it would become an actual code. Who would have thought there would be a second movement on the underside of the box?
This movement is like the other one. The comb's teeth are all the same length.
So this movement also only produces a single tone like the other one.
Yes, it must do. Except that the length of the teeth on the two combs isn't the same.
Oh. Oh. It's not Morse code. It's binary. Yeah. Zeros and ones, baby.
So the single tone produced by this movement will be different to the single tone we've already heard.
What?
Basically, each movement can only produce a single note.
But the notes they produce are different. A music box that can only play two tones. Oh, I got it. See how the 4 McGilded disc sits in the music box the man deposited at Windibanks? It couldn't be a more perfect fit.
So there's no question then. The disc was designed to be played in this music box.
Yet, despite that, the sounds it produces are neither musical, nor do they appear to have any meaning. It just doesn't make any sense.
I wonder if perhaps there's more to this music box than meets the eye. Maybe we haven't discovered all its secrets yet.
No, I think we just did. That's illuminating. Alright. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information.
Hold it!
So is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being interpreted? Intercepted? How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information.
Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop.
Let me guess. Juror number 5.
We regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader.
That's fascinating. Well...
Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop.
So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon? Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent in ciphered. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them.
Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meeting with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists them ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications.
Oh, Juror 5, I could kiss you. Slam dunk.
And he's received the top prize at the Cipher Cracking Convention 5 years in a row now.
That's fascinating. Get dunked on, loser.
Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop.
Well, your idol would appreciate it if you'd keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code.
Hold it!
They're not? To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent on listening to that music box for even a few seconds. Of course. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch, he looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance.
I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir.
A lesson? Here in court?
Morse code is a continuous series of 2 distinct tones.
Oh. Tones, you say?
Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters.
I see.
For example, this is A, and this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you can only hear one tone, don't you?
But it sounds so similar. The rhythm of it is the same in everything. But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code.
No!
Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in future. Stop. Nothing to say, but stop.
Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it?
Iris?
I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely.
Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play back Morse code? I think it's possible. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least.
Objection!
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, 2 tones are required. Dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You had better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code? Boop. Wait, we have to see this again? Just notice something? You see this, though. Here it goes. Same thing as always. Another moving down the underside, yada yada. For dinner today, I had a really great grilled cheese sandwich with cheddar and Colby Jack and Swiss. A little bit of soup to go with it. Italian wedding soup with noodles and meatballs. It was delicious. Right.
Got it!
Good gracious, what am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box? What? It appears, my lord, that the 2 movements are linked together. In other words, you can put 2 discs in this music box, and the sounds of both will play back at the same time. Good heavens! As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of 2 tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. This is beyond a joke. Did I just see a hole in his armpit? Or is that a model glitch? I'm sorry? This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though, of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with a second disc, that would be another matter. Well, I can't at the moment. And may I remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with McGilded 2 months ago, striking a deal over the disc or discs.
Indeed. That was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
Exactly. I had nothing whatsoever to do with it.
Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue.
No penalty! Yay! The link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus case must be there somewhere. But I haven't found it yet. Oh dear, it looks like you need to give your argument more strength, Ryuno.
You will reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon.
If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, was it not? I've no relation to the man.
Hold it!
So, 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGilded killed the brickmaker and stole the disc? Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him. That doesn't make much sense, though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? How indeed? There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason in order to take it to the meeting with McGilded and negotiate a deal. Dear me. You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, far more class than that. An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together.
If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony.
Look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night like what we told us to do.
Hold it!
Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean? That's it, yeah. Who else, eh? Silly me thought he was just popping over for a natter after all them years, but the rotter had a dodgy job for us. After all those years. Hey, Ash. Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? We're the sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure, let's say Graydon's an old china.
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Mr. Skulkin? Huh? No, the other Mr. Skulkin.
What, who, me?
When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react.
Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have a right old laugh together way back then.
Together? With Mr. Graydon, you mean?
Yeah, with Ash. I mean, you look at him now and his fancy whistle and flute and you wouldn't Adam and Eve it.
When he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us.
Is that so?
But he was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone through our heads.
Cor blimey, ain't that the truth? Remember Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run? That was a corker, eh? Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. And neither does your fruit. Oi, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was answering.
Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong. Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please?
I don't know. Could that sentimental story be relevant somehow? Milverton! Right? Where is he? Where's the name? Hold on, wait. Mason Milverton! I knew it! I had an inkling! Yeah! Add it. My lord.
Yes, counsel?
The brother's last sentimental statement could hold vital information relating to this case.
Very well, counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with that detail. Briefly, I hasten to add...
Say no more. A skulkin's never skulkin'. Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run. Gor, them were the days.
Hold it!
I'm sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business? Just a little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. A bit of fun, really.
Delivering fresh milk to the locals, that's what it was all about.
That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate, but on what? The business name. So this business was just a bit of fun, you say? And it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved? Yeah, that's it. Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run, was it?
Yeah, that's it.
And where did the Milverton part come from? Oh, right. I thought a clever clogs like you'd have worked that one out. That's his. Enough of this. My god, is Ashley Graydon a fake name too? How much longer are we expected to listen to... Let me guess, you don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying. Tell me, why is it that it was only the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? Because well... It weren't the happiest of homes that one comes from.
Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much, his wife walked out on him.
She took the name Graydon then, see?
But Ash would always be Milverton to us.
Ashley Milverton, huh? Milverton? So that used to be your surname, did it? Of course not. This is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, hmm? You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon. Ugh.
Well, it would appear that Mr. and Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable. For once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then? Is that correct?
Very well, yes. Wait, so, if my theory that Mason is Gina's father, would this make this guy Gina's uncle? Oof. So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information could change things, and could turn out to be extremely important. All of a sudden, we seem to be up to our necks in a serious matter of national security. Although all this talk about interception of secret government messages is still just conjecture at this stage. It would explain a number of things, though, wouldn't it? The negotiation Ginny overheard on the omnibus 2 months ago, and the break-in at Windibanks. Well, the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon in the omnibus with Mr. McGilded. No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker who was so horribly murdered. Huh. If only there was some link between the two men somehow. I know, but Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to us making headway with the cross-examination here could be those two brothers. Sometimes this game can be really weird if you uncover information then get the default text anyway. Right. Some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, was it not? I've no relation to the man. You have a blood relation, good sir.
Objection!
Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name.
Explain yourself, please, counsel.
I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we now understand to have been negotiating with McGilded.
Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
That's right, only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton.
Milverton? Do you mean to say, saints alive?
Mr. Ashley Milverton, is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? Oh, that's a possibility. I don't... Well, I guess he's Gina's big brother, maybe. Oh. As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you join the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it on to McGilded in collaboration with your father. Arrgh! The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded.
By dint of this music box, you mean, counsel?
Yes, stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to McGilded. Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands.
And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever.
But the deal with McGilded went sour
and the brickmaker met his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learnt of the situation, you appeared at Windibank's 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there. But that attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time determined to recover the second disc.
Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box?
Huh?
We never knew nothing about that.
On the night that Mr. Windibank was killed, the intruder to the pawnbrokery touched one item, and one item alone, the music box.
As rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera, indeed.
So, the question that naturally begs answering is this: why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since, if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. What is with his arm? I just saw his wound opened. Sir, there appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? Ah! 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windibank's pawnbrokery. 1 took the life of the pawnbroker himself. 1 struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes's waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it? He's got you now, my old China.
Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon.
Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember, and I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly, I was a fool to think I could trust some common backslum thieves. Fine, I admit it. I was there in Windibanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets, negotiating with Mr. McGilded. As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. He's not going to go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is... well, we know that 1 bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholmes's waist. And the bullet from Mr. Windibank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm.
Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself.
And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Windibank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder.
Goodness.
That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Windibank that night is you.
Hold it!
You little upstart! You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here. What? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbroker's. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining this distinguished career I'd built for myself at the communication station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility?
Oh, I know what he's gonna say. He's gonna claim that he was there to recover it, to prevent it leaking.
Oh, that's clever. What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment? Oh. You see, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. What?
Are you suggesting?
I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at that poor defenseless pawnbroker and shot him. You... what?
Order! Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial.
That's my thought. Mr. Graydon. Yes? I trust you are fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer. Oh, I understand fully.
Then I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim.
Nothing would give me greater pleasure. Ugh, the slime ball. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end things here. Wow. I think I was damn right. Once that box opened, whew, things just turned to 11. That's a lot of information we just learned. Oh my god. Wow, okay, wow, jeez. I mean, I long suspect that Mason Milverton was Gina's father because of their similar clothing attire and their hair, especially the way they have curly bangs and all that. Well, not curly really, more like wavy, very wavy bangs. I never for a second suspected that Graydon here, well, I'll just call him Ashley, I suppose. I never suspected that Ashley was related to either of them for a second. Wow. If we can just find that disc. Well, actually, come to think of it, maybe playing that disc in the courtroom would be a bad idea, because, boy, just playing government secrets out loud for an entire courtroom of the public to hear would be pretty bad. And speaking of characters with similar hair being related, it really did strike me this time around that Gregson's hair color, it really is shockingly similar to the Skulkin brothers. Maybe there's actually a grain of truth to him being their brother. What are their ages? Hold on, I can look that up. Let's see. 44, 26, 27. It's not impossible. As we all know, surnames don't mean too much. I don't know. What else is there to talk about? Right, so, as the judge said, it really does feel like this is drawing to a close. I guess I can just completely and utterly dismiss my theory that we were going to go into another investigations phase. Yeah, it's dead. This game is ending very soon. Probably not in the next video. Probably not in the video after that, but after that, well, the jury's out. And yeah, I'm excited for that. Once I finish this game here, I'll be able to play through the bonus episodes, and when those are done, I'll be able to play through the second game in this collection. Wowee! Huh. The stars have truly aligned, haven't they? I am surprised, though, that Ashley didn't actually go for the excuse that I was there as a secret operative to retrieve the sensitive information. Couldn't even trust the police with it, you see. But maybe there'd just be too many holes in that. Like, you just have to ask any of Ashley's superiors. Like, there's someone up the food chain from them, surely. And speaking of people up the food chain, Male Stronhart. What is his deal? What is it? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in the next game. Alright, I think that'll do it for good then. I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you next time, so until then, please take care.